So today I want to talk with you about microservices. This is something that I'm starting to learn and jump into more. Um, as far as I've got a little inventory app, toolinginventory.com, and I want to diving into microservices. It really seems like an interesting pattern, and I see a lot of pros and cons with that. So I just want to show you this app. So we've got a tools page. We keep track of jobs and we keep track of operators, and then basically how those interact with each other. And I want to kind of go over some microservices do's and don'ts, I guess, and how I'm going to go about trying to implement microservices for this app. So the idea with microservices is instead of this app being one big app on the back-end side, we're going to implement a service-oriented architecture where we have basically we have our client, and we're going to use an API abstraction layer here. Service is going to be API, and basically this is going to abstract away the database. DB, actually we should use this thing. So DB, so we've got storage, then we have things like we have some functionality baked in here like auto email alerts, so email service, email whatever, auto email service. Basically, so we have our client interacts with the API. Both these arrows actually go both ways, and we have a both-way abstraction between these guys. And so normally, this service would take care of tools. So we would do tools. It would also take care of jobs. Then we would also have operators. And this one service would have all the responsibility of all these things. And that makes things nice because things are close together. But as the app grows, you get into large code base, and you run into situations where maybe I want to do an improvement on the jobs service that just does some database stuff and maybe some whatever, does some other things. You're going to have to redeploy the whole app. So the idea of microservices is we're actually, instead of having one big service, we're going to have multiple services. And this is the part that's sort of interesting here, is not only do we have multiple services, we actually have multiple databases, and these services, instead of being one service abstracted to one database, the idea is you want to have your service take care of one thing and take care of it really well. So we'd have, let's start doing some deletion here. We'd have a jobs. This is going to be jobs DB. Then we're going to have operators. Then we're going to have an operators DB. DB. Operators, we won't get this. Then we're going to have tools. And tools DB. And so now our client is going to interact with these different microservices. If it wants tools, it goes there. Then if it wants operators, goes here. And the idea with these microservices is they don't rely on any other service. They're self-contained. So these are literally living, like in my case, I'm working on setting up jobs.toolinginventory.com, and then that's going to be the routes for the job service. Then we're going to have operators.toolinginventory.com. That's going to be the operator service. And with this, you're going to have semantic versioning, good versioning, and each one is going to be a separate deployed instance. And the only way to make this work is you need to have an automated build process, a way to quickly fire up these services. Let me get out of here. And I'm going to show you, we're going to be using, or like what I'm using for this, Heroku, which allows you to create, and specifically Node, it's going to allow you to really quickly create a development pipeline. So you're going to have, automated, to make this work, you want to have automated builds, continuous integration, and I'll leave some links in the description to how to set up a Heroku continuous integration pipeline. And then you also want to have them so they're like separate instances of services. And I saw some articles are saying you don't just want to have a as business domain, but like CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete. They're even saying so you would have tools CRUD, and then say so there's some tools CRUD, and then we also have some tools reporting. So that's another microservice. And I'm still working out on the best way to handle, like, should tools reporting have its own database, and I would say no, because it's going to be driven off CRUD. But I think you can have some shared data stores between these. But the idea with this is you want to have it easy to deploy. You could deploy this without interrupting your operators and jobs. And it's going to allow a lot of benefits for stability and definitely stuff like that. So this is something I'm working with and kind of learning. So if you have any comments, definitely do the comments, and we're going to make more videos on how to make this work. But it seems like the only way to make this work well is to use the modern tools and have a system where it's cheap to fire up instances of your application server and even your build pipeline, because you have to have staging, UAT, a whole dev pipeline for each service, just for quality reasons, and you need to make these very testable. So definitely cool stuff, and hopefully make more of these.